welcome to the Aligned Heart podcast. This is Misty Springer, and I'm happy to be here with you all today. So, we are talking about this idea that I hear often from the clients that I work with that I should be farther along, or haven't I already worked on this? Why is it that this is popping up again? I've done the thought work, I've done the energetic work, I've looked at this belief before, and why is it that it keeps coming up? I should be over this by now. This should be healed. Why does it keep coming back in different scenarios and different situations? So if you've ever felt that frustration, you're not alone. If you've ever felt that feeling of why is this coming back? I should be farther along. I shouldn't be feeling this anymore. Just recognize that you are in the same boat with a lot of other clients and people who are in this personal development world. And I have found that it is something that that happens often, for myself included, right? We feel like there is this goal that we're trying to attain. There's this growth that we're trying to get to. Sometimes it feels like I need to get to a certain place, and then I have arrived, I have healed, I am done, right? There is that feeling of I need to get somewhere in order to feel complete. And I want to offer a different perspective today. And our growth begins with a discontent. I call it a divine discontent. This divine discontent means I'm not satisfied with where I am right now. I see where I could be, and I want that. And I like to think of this as like a mountain peak. We see that there is this mountain peak. There is this possibility that's available to us. And we can only climb a peak that's available. We can only climb something that we can see. And so the first step is defining the desire. And that often comes through discontent. There is a divine discontent in this is not what I want. I know that I'm meant for more. I can see this peak and I want something different. And this divine discontent actually motivates us into action. We start walking up the hill. We're motivated to get on the path and into the climb. We're ready to take on the boulders and the rocks and the fatigue because the divine discontent is motivating us. It's pulling us forward. We know that we're meant for more. And so we start this climb, and it's hard, and there's rocks and there's boulders, and we're climbing over things, and it feels challenging. And we are becoming someone different in the climb. And we eventually reach the top, and it feels amazing. It feels like I did it. I'm here. I believe something differently about myself. I believe something different about what is possible for me because I can look down and see where I've been, and I'm somewhere different now. And this feels amazing. And all of a sudden we look up and we notice that, wow, there's a peak over there. There's another peak. There's another peak. There's multiple peaks that I can climb up. And now the divine discontent is back again. It's saying, I'm not content here. I actually want to go climb another peak. And so that divine discontent again propels us forward. But this time, we have a belief in ourselves that was not there before. We are a different person when we are climbing the new peak. So as we climb, as we drop down into the valley, we are on a new climb. The only way to honor the divine discontent is to drop into the valley and start a new climb. And as we climb, we're going to feel the same fatigue. It's going to feel very similar. We're going to experience similar rocks and boulders. We're going to experience similar obstacles along the way. We may even experience similar thoughts or limiting beliefs along the way, but we are not the same person on the second peak that we were on the first. We have a belief in ourself that we can pull from that we didn't have the first time. We have muscles that are stronger. We have shoes that are more broken in. We have wisdom and understanding that we didn't have before. We are never the same person hiking the second peak that we were the first time, even if it feels the same. And we get to the top of the second peak and it's like, this feels amazing. I love the view. I love the feeling of accomplishment. I'm here. And guess what? We see another peak. And so in order to climb the next peak, we drop down into the valley. We recognize that there's something more for me, and we climb up the next peak. We are in constant process in this peaks and valley, but we are never the same person climbing the next peak. When you feel, why am I right back here? Why am I right back? This boulder looks familiar. These blisters feel the same, right? Maybe instead of judging yourself for crossing a boulder, notice the wisdom that you have that wasn't there before. The only thing that keeps you stuck, the only thing that keeps you from moving forward with confidence is judging yourself for being in the valley, for judging yourself for being on the climb. But what if the climb was not about reaching the top? What if the climb was about who you become as you climb? The muscles you build, the experience you gain, the wisdom that comes, what you believe differently about yourself each time you climb. That is the goal of the climb, not the destination. The destination is wonderful, it's beautiful, and it feels amazing, but it's always going to be temporary. There's always going to be another peak to climb, and that's okay. It's actually the way that it's designed. Because as we climb the next peak, we become stronger, we become more aware. And maybe it's not about the climb, maybe it's about just right now, it's about resting here on top of the peak, and that's okay too. What are you believing about yourself that allows you to stop and rest and give yourself permission not to climb? There's a whole set of beliefs that is present there as well. And that also comes from the wisdom of the climb. So as you are on this personal growth journey, and I know you are, you would not be here listening to this podcast if you weren't, maybe think about, contemplate, ponder, who am I becoming on the climb? And what feels important about that? I'm going to invite you into a meditation where we get to experience this. You get to take this learning and embody it in a whole new way. You get to meditate and ponder on this idea of who am I becoming as I climb. So I invite you into the podcast that accompanies this, the meditation that goes along with this podcast episode. It will follow right immediately after this. So join me in that. Can't wait to have you there. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next time.